Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Lance Brock here. There is a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 487, available now. Talking all about last night's AEW Dynamite. An episode that featured all the fallout from last Sunday night's all-out pay-per-view. And also, this morning I want to talk a little bit more about what I mentioned last night, and that was the passing of Sheik Anon KC. And he was 84 years old, born in 1939 in Baghdad, Iraq. And at one time, he worked as a character, Billy White Wolf, that was supposed to be a Native American character. And then in the 70s, he even defeated Andre the Giant in Baghdad in 1971. And that's something not really a whole lot of people have done. Also, he worked a little bit with New Japan and worked in Florida a little bit too in 1974, 1975. And then in 76 and 77, he worked a little bit for Vince McMahon Sr.'s WWF. And then he would work different promotions here and there. And then he was a manager in the AWA, which I'm not sure if they still do now. But I remember at one time on ESPN Classic, they used to show some reruns from when the AWA was on ESPN, so that's how I saw a lot of that. There he was. His goal was to get the AWA world title from Nick Bockwinkel. He managed Jerry Blackwell, and he even bought Ken Patera from Bobby the Brain Heenan. And he managed, or he teamed with, I should say, Boris Zukov, and they actually had a match against the Midnight Rockers. Of course, that is Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. And this might be what he's most famous for, especially more with younger fans. And when he went to WWF, he became one of Sergeant Slaughter's managers. At the time, he was known as General Anon, and that was when the Iron Sheik was Colonel Mustafa. The three of them were probably the top heels in the World Wrestling Federation at the time. Of course, that led to the World Wrestling Federation Championship match at WrestleMania 7. Sergeant Slaughter versus Hulk Hogan. In case anybody doesn't know, for some reason, at the time, they turned Sergeant Slaughter heel, and he was an Iraqi sympathizer, and he joined up with Andan and the Iron Sheik as heels. They took out the Ultimate Warrior and other baby faces, and like I said, Slaughter and Hogan main evented WrestleMania 7. So was definitely a pretty big part in the history of pro wrestling. And last night on AEW Dynamite, we heard from the winner of the 0 Hour over budget charity battle. Easy for me to say, Battle Royal. And Hangman being interrupted by Swerve Strickland, and then attacked by Brian Cage. Next week on Dynamite, we will see Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage 3. I think that would be a pretty good match. I'm sure this will set up for eventually to have Swerve Strickland versus Page. And also last night on Dynamite, Samoa Joe once again going after MJF, who sold it perfectly, saying, "My neck, it hurts it's worse than the last time." Said his left arm was numb. Like I said last night, I'm guessing this is going to lead to a Samoa Joe MJF match. We could see Samoa Joe win the Grand Slam World Title Eliminator Tournament, or Roderick Strong. But either way, no matter who wins it though, I'm pretty sure there's a chance we could see Joe and Strong in the finals of the tournament, where the winner will go on to face MJF for the AEW World Championship at Grand Slam, Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. This is the third one in the last couple of years. They have both been very good shows, so hopefully this year will be no different. And that's all for this Thursday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone has had a good Thursday morning so far. Hope to have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight. I hope so anyway, but not making any promises for sure. Tonight, Impact Wrestling on Access TV and Ring of Honor on Honor Club. Tomorrow we got a pretty stacked night of pro wrestling. Got WWE Friday Night SmackDown, All Elite Wrestling Rampage, and Impact Wrestling has their Victory Road special on Impact Plus, Fight TV, and YouTube for Ultimate Insiders. And before I wrap up, remember, you can leave your questions and comments, also your feedback for last night's AEW Dynamite, and you can leave your predictions for Impact's Victory Road tomorrow. Also, any favorite memories or matches you have of Sheik and Casey, you can leave them in the comment section as well, either here on Spreaker, YouTube, or whichever podcast website or app you listen to on. Thank you again for listening, everybody. Like I said, hope to be back with a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight. But one thing is for sure, I will be back tomorrow morning for the Friday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. But until then, have a great pro wrestling day.